Behind prison walls lies a world with its own rules, its own governments, and its own wars. A world where race decides allegiance and survival demands violence. On one side, the Black Guerrilla Family, born from revolution, forged in ideology. On the other, the Aryan Brotherhood, built on supremacy and fueled by blood. Two gangs, opposite in color, purpose and creed, yet bound by the same hunger for power. This is the untold story of their decades-long war, a conflict that turned America's prisons into battlegrounds. Welcome to Gangster Chronicles. If you're new here, hit subscribe, ring that bell icon, and join our journey into the dark corners of history's most feared gangs. Chapter 1. The Birth of Rebellion, the Black Guerrilla Family. The year was 1966. Inside California's San Quentin State Prison, a place already boiling with racial tension, a revolutionary seed was planted. Led by inmate George Jackson alongside W.L. Nolan and others, the Black Guerrilla Family, or BGF, was born. But unlike other gangs, the BGF didn't start with drugs or turf. They started with an idea. Their founding mission was simple, but radical: to unite black inmates, to fight oppression, and to stand against what they saw as a racist prison system. George Jackson wasn't your typical gangster. He was a thinker, an author, a revolutionary. He wrote the book Soledad Brother, turning his prison letters into a symbol of resistance across America. For the BGF, violence wasn't just survival. It was political warfare. They pledged allegiance not to crime, but to revolution. Yet as time went on, something changed. The movement turned militant. The politics blurred into power. And soon, ideology gave way to influence, inside and outside the walls. By the late 1970s, the BGF had evolved into a structured organization, hierarchical, disciplined, and deadly. From California's prisons to the streets of Baltimore and beyond, the BGF controlled drug trade, extortion, and hit contracts, all under the banner of revolution. But their message came with enemies, and one of them was waiting just across the prison yard. Chapter 2. The White Order, Rise of the Aryan Brotherhood. Just 2 years before the BGF was born, in that same hellhole of steel and concrete, another group took shape. The Aryan Brotherhood, or AB, formed in 1964 inside San Quentin. When prisons began desegregating, violence exploded. White inmates found themselves outnumbered and under threat. Their answer? Brotherhood. The Aryan Brotherhood started as a white protection gang, but it quickly turned into something darker. A violent white supremacist organization that took cues from the Nazi ideology and the Irish Celtic warrior code. Members marked themselves with tattoos, shamrocks, swastikas, lightning bolts, each symbol representing blood spilled for the cause. Their rules were brutal. Blood in, blood out. Betrayal meant death. Orders were followed without question. The AB grew ruthless, efficient, and feared. Despite being less than 1% of the U.S. prison population, they were responsible for up to 20% of murders behind bars. Their structure was military-like. A council or commission ran operations both inside and outside. Their reach extended far beyond the prison gates. Drugs, gambling, contract killings. Even alliances with outlaw biker gangs like the Hells Angels. While the Black Guerrilla Family spoke of revolution, the Aryan Brotherhood spoke of dominance. And when these two ideologies met, black revolution versus white supremacy, it ignited one of the bloodiest rivalries in prison history. Chapter 3. Fire and Blood, the Rivalry Erupts. The war began in whispers, a shank in the dark, a body in the yard. In the early 1970s, racial tensions inside California prisons were at a breaking point. The death of BGF founder W.L. Nolan in 1970 at Soledad Prison, shot by a guard, turned George Jackson and his followers into martyrs. When Jackson himself was later killed during a supposed escape attempt in 1971 at San Quentin, the message to his brothers was clear. This is war. The Black Guerrilla Family began targeting rival white gangs and corrupt officers. The Aryan Brotherhood responded in kind, striking back with coordinated hits on BGF leaders. From California to Texas to the federal supermax system, every mixed prison yard became a powder keg. Murders, riots, and retaliation became routine. The AB's hit lists were passed hand to hand through coded letters. The BGF countered with ambushes, often hidden under the guise of protection disputes. Law enforcement described it as a cold civil war behind bars. And the irony, both groups, enemies by ideology, were making money from the same criminal pipelines: drugs, extortion, and smuggling. Sometimes they even struck temporary business truces, before going back to killing each other again. Chapter 4. Operations and Methods, Inside the Machine. By now we've seen how both gangs were born, their beliefs, their structure. But to truly understand their power, we need to see how they actually run. Behind those prison bars, both the Black Guerrilla Family and the Aryan Brotherhood operate like criminal corporations. Organized, strategic, and built to survive even in isolation. Let's open the door to their operations. The Black Guerrilla Family, the Shadow Network. The BGF built its power through communication and discipline. Inside, they follow a strict chain of command. Generals, captains, lieutenants, soldiers. Each prison yard acts like a cell in a larger organism, with coded messages, or kites, traveling through mail, hidden inside legal documents or religious texts. Their communications are clever, invisible ink made from toothpaste or lemon juice, coded Bible verses, even hand signs during religious services. Every message can cross hundreds of miles without a phone call. On the outside, the same network controls street-level drug trade, coordinates protection rackets, and taxes local dealers in cities like Baltimore and Los Angeles. They call it community rent. Pay up or face revolutionary justice. The BGF blends ideology with business, preaching political unity while pushing kilos of narcotics. That combination of belief and profit makes them uniquely resilient. The Aryan Brotherhood, the business of blood. While BGF wraps itself in ideology, the Aryan Brotherhood operates like a cold, efficient crime syndicate. Their structure runs through a council known as the Commission. Orders flow down through lieutenants and soldiers, each tied to the gang for life by their motto, blood in, blood out. Communication happens through an intricate code system. Celtic runes, chessboard positions, numbers, or even the pattern of a letter's punctuation. Every symbol can carry meaning. To the untrained eye, it's harmless. To an initiate, it's a death sentence or a business order. The AB's reach extends beyond prison walls. They partner with biker gangs, cartels, and meth networks, coordinating distribution, extortion, and contract killings from inside maximum security units. In short, the Aryan Brotherhood turned prison time into profit time. Chapter 5. Blood Money, Crime Over Creed. By the 1990s and 2000s, the ideology had mostly faded. The BGF, once revolutionary, now acted like a corporation of crime, trafficking heroin, cocaine, and marijuana through prison networks into the streets. In Baltimore, BGF members ran drug corners like military units, issuing taxes on dealers and punishing anyone who refused. Meanwhile, the Aryan Brotherhood evolved into a criminal empire that extended across state lines, connected to cartels, bikers, and corrupt guards. The rivalry became less about race and more about revenue, but the hatred never disappeared. It just became professional. One AB member, during a 2006 FBI interview, said, "We don't need to fight every day. We just need to remind them we can." Violence became strategic, a way to control business, not chaos. The AB often charged protection fees to non-white gangs. The BGF, in turn, formed alliances with Latino groups like the Nuestra Familia or Black Stones when needed. Each gang adapted to survive the changing prison landscape, lockdowns, isolation units, federal investigations. But the deadliest weapon they carried wasn't guns or knives, it was organization. Chapter 6. War in the Shadows, the Modern Era. In the 2010s and beyond, federal authorities intensified their crackdown. In 2013, dozens of Black Guerrilla Family members were arrested in Maryland for running drug and smuggling operations inside the Baltimore City Detention Center, with help from corrupt prison guards. In 2019, a BGF leader was sentenced to 35 years for authorizing multiple murders. In 2025, the Department of Justice convicted 3 Aryan Brotherhood members in a massive RICO case, linking them to murder-for-hire plots and narcotics distribution even from inside maximum security. Despite these blows, both gangs remain active. In many prisons, their names still command fear, BGF and AB etched into walls and skin alike. The rivalry has cooled in some states, but the hatred runs deep. Old wounds rarely heal behind steel bars. Chapter 7. Legacy and Lessons. The story of the Black Guerrilla Family and the Aryan Brotherhood isn't just about crime. It's about America itself, about how race, power, and ideology can twist in the darkness, until revolution turns to violence and protection turns to hate. Both gangs began with different reasons, one to fight oppression, the other to survive it, but both ended up in the same place: blood, power, and control. Their legacy still shapes how prisons operate today, with racial separation, gang validation systems, and lifelong surveillance. And for those inside, one wrong step, one wrong alliance can still mean death. It's not just about who wins, it's about who survives. And that's the story of America's deadliest prison gang rivalry. The Black Guerrilla Family versus the Aryan Brotherhood. Two sides of the same broken system. Two legacies still written in blood. If you made it this far, you're one of the real ones. Tap that like button to help more people find this story. Subscribe to Gangster Chronicles for more deep dives into the gangs, wars, and untold histories shaping the underworld. And let me know in the comments, who should we cover next? The MS-13, the Texas Syndicate, or maybe the story of the Aryan Circle? Until next time, stay sharp, stay aware, and remember, power always comes with a price.